Hello, hello, hello. Let me make sure that we are live. Living color here. Ooh, turn. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Juice. Today we are doing a recap episode of Season 22 of Big Brother's All-Stars Edition. And this is a little bit more than I usually recap in one recap episode because I was in Aruba for a few days, so I am adding on an additional episode. So we're going to do 4-episode recap right now, from Sunday's episode to Wednesday's episode to Thursday's episode to what is now Monday night's episode. They moved the Sunday night episodes from Sundays to Mondays. And before we dive into the content, I want to just remind everyone that I do stream these things live. I am a live streamer, and I go live every single day on Periscope and mostly every single day on Twitch as well, as long as I'm not traveling. And I go live at least once a week on YouTube. So right now I'm live on Periscope and YouTube at the same time. I have the same username everywhere if you're interested in the types of content that I provide. I do gaming, as you can imagine, on Twitch. I do these I do Survivor and Big Brother reality show recaps. I might do The Amazing Race. I'm not sure. Kind of want to get some feedback if you guys like these types of, if you like this type of content or not, because I've got to do what makes the most sense for my audience, make sure you guys are getting what you want from the show. And I do book reviews. I read a lot of books, mostly nonfiction. And I do broadcasts about the different classes that I take as I am pursuing my bachelor's degree in psychology to become a clinical mental health therapist. So let me first say hello to everybody before we go in. Let me say who the first comment to the broadcast was. A bit rude, but from Imp. Thank you, Imp, for being here. Your ears? What do you mean your ears? Okay, I'm too blind for this. I'm blind as a bat, as Imp was saying earlier. So there we go. I'll wear my glasses. I'll be able to see way better. Hi, Turtle. How was your workout this morning? Hi, Reggie. I'm a podcaster now. No, I don't do podcasts, but wait, how do I take this comment down? Wait. I left it. Okay, there we go. Hey, New York City guy. Hey, Jadan. I did enjoy it so much. Retired. I was so spoiled. I didn't pay a penny on that whole trip. My boyfriend took me there for my 30th birthday and spoiled me to a level I haven't been spoiled since I was a child, and my mom took care of everything. You love this timing? Yay! Yeah, I was live in the private Periscope group for a while earlier. That was fun. We went for a walk. We went to the post office. We got some presents from Cody for my birthday. So good. All right, bye, Simon. Hey, Dan, how are you? Thank you for the super hearts, Reggie. Thank you for the super hearts, Mo. How have you been? Thank you, Dan, for the super hearts as well. Big boys. Oh. I made a big boys. First on YouTube. Hey, what's up? You thought I was... No, I just turned 30. Thank you, Neil. I look refreshed. I think it's just because it's daytime, so it must be that. I put a little bit of lipstick on, maybe that. Hi, everybody. Daddy Brian. What is up? It was amazing. Good. Enzo for the win, Mark. I do love Enzo, and I do agree with what he said in Monday night's episode, which is that he's in a really good position in the house right now. So if you guys don't follow Big Brother, then you can talk amongst yourselves in the chat, but I am going to dive into the Big Brother content now, and then after this, I'll be live playing Fortnite over on Twitch, and maybe Among Us if you guys want to play that. New York City guy, thank you for the super hearts. That's really nice. Oh my gosh, that sunset picture. I love that. Oh, so beautiful. Okay, so going back quite a ways when Davon was had just been evicted. So it was episode 23. It was a Sunday night, and the show starts out with Nicole lying to Christmas about voting to keep Davon. But then what I thought was even more interesting is that Danny and Nicole both lied to each other about voting to keep Davon, which I thought was really strange because I thought they had made that decision together, but they lied about it. Christmas knew that Nicole was lying about it. That was the whole suspicion. That's why they wanted to get Davon out, because they didn't want Nicole and Danny to be running any side deals with her. So they got her out, and a lot has happened since then. So the next part was Danny telling everyone about her replay power, which I think was not the best choice because then she just was in a position where like everyone knew that she had it and she had to basically decide whether or not to use it. Memphis was head of household, so her connection with Memphis wouldn't necessarily be known, you know, without using it on him, but he is a member of the committee. He said he didn't really want to play again to be HOH because he kind of wanted to fade into the background after winning again, but he, you know, whatever she wanted to do. And then she was saying that no one would know. Well, she didn't tell everyone, so she told Nicole, Cody, and Davon about the replay power. So then when she told Memphis, she was like, yeah, so nobody would know that I used it on you. You could make it seem like you used it yourself. And he was kind of like, he didn't really know if he like wanted to go along with that, but he was fine with it. And it was a bit hard to read him in that setting. But she did end up ultimately using the replay power, which allowed Memphis to compete in the head of household competition 2 weeks in a row, you know, the second week after winning. Hey, Kanan, did you just subscribe to my YouTube channel? I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, King, how's it going? I don't know if I already said hi to you. If I did, hi again. It does seem like the House knows that Nicole was the flip vote on Ian, and I actually wrote that, you know, she's just Danny's little pawn, and she kind of was getting that sense too, that she was going along with Danny's ideas, and I got the impression that Nicole was going to be going home soon. So it's interesting to see kind of how it played out ultimately, but I definitely thought that you know, Nicole was getting a lot of attention for flipping on Ian and then pinning it on David. And I don't know, I'll just say, Christmas actually talks to David in one of these episodes and tells him, I know that Nicole was actually the flip vote and they pinned it on you, and it was her and Danny's little plan, and we know about this. And he was kind of like relieved to know that somebody believed him and that everyone knew. And he was like, wow, sweet, innocent Nicole, you know, like the fact that she would do something like that, and really made him want to target Danny and Nicole. And Christmas wanted that, right? She talked to Memphis about it. They were hoping to actually use David to take some shots at people in the committee so they wouldn't have to take those shots. We'll see how that played out. Let me not get ahead of myself here. So Memphis, so the HOH competition was a choice between prizes and HOH, and it was a golf course. So you got, I think, 3 balls that you got to putt down the golf course, and you got to just hit them one time, and wherever they land is the points that you get. And you have to go with your most recent score, your last score that you do. So if you get a score, like in this case, Memphis got a 5, and he thought, oh, that's kind of good. Like, I don't really want to win HOH, so let me do something a little bit like worse and get because a lower number is better in golf. So he wanted a worse number, a higher number. So he did it again. He got an 8, which is funny because he was like not even barely trying. He didn't really want HOH, but so many people end up getting like out of bounds when they were really trying. And he still like pulled off an 8 just like to try to do badly. So it was funny, but he went for the prize as well. A lot of people went like they would, you know, try 1 on HOH, try 2 on the prizes, or vice versa. And I think some people went exclusively for the prizes, which ended up being Tyler and Danny they both landed on the same number, which was a 3 for the $10,000 prize. So they had to split the $10,000 and each ended up with $5,000 instead. It didn't seem like they shared that information with each other, that they were the 2 that won the money. Kevin did have a 5, but he tried for better and it ended up going out of bounds, which he was really upset with. And it did seem like that was a really, you know, like bad call because he actually would have won. But then it turns out that Cody actually won that one, which I don't think I actually wrote that down. I think Cody won with it. Yeah, I did write it down. He won with a score of 2. So Cody ends up winning HOH again. I really do think Cody has a really good I think if Cody and Enzo went to the end together, that would be a really awesome final 2. And I would imagine that Cody would win, but there are people that really can't stand Cody that I didn't realize there was that sentiment for him, Kevin in particular, which we'll get into I might have talked about that. No. Yeah, I'll get to that at the end of this episode. So my guess, my preemptive guess was that he was going to nominate Kevin and David and then target David. What I didn't realize is there was some really strong contentions between Cody and Kevin, and it seems like Nicole and Kevin as well. So I was wrong about my prediction. I was upset that Christmas and Enzo weren't all buddy-buddy anymore because I really liked that whole thing with the stars and them pretending like the stars were all their babies. That was really funny and entertaining and like light-spirited, but Christmas seems to have some potentially like emotional control issues, or I think Davon hinted in one of her posts on her exit interview had, I think, mentioned something about potentially Christmas having maybe like a drinking problem or having some type of deeper problems. She has like the nightmares all the time, as we heard her mention in an earlier episode, and she just really seems to kind of be like snapping and being kind of vicious and nasty towards a lot of the people in the house. And I think I would love to go to the end with her if I was one of those people, because even though it would suck to live with her, I would be pretty sure that I could probably win against her, because most people don't seem to like her very much, which is sad because she seems like she has a lot of potential to be a really nice, fun person. Okay. Enzo tells Cody about Memphis's other side deal, the other wise guys with Christmas, the three-way deal. And that's the first time that I've seen that Enzo's actually shared information with Cody. Cody told Enzo about the committee, but Enzo didn't tell Cody, that I saw anyway. I don't watch the live feed, so I'm not totally sure everything, but in the produced show, that he didn't tell him about the Slick Six or anything. And it kind of seemed like Cody was giving Enzo info and not the vice versa. But as it goes on, the final two between Enzo and Cody is like very, very solid, it seems like. Cody does have a final two deal with Nicole as well. I've been thinking more about that. Nicole still, even to this very moment, has not won anything. And that would be someone, and she hasn't won anything this season, and she's won the show before. So she's gotten the $500,000 prize before. So in this All-Stars jury, they might say, she already got it. She already won before, and she hasn't won a single competition since she's been in the house. They're gonna, I would assume, have more respect for somebody. At this point, Nicole's going against all people that have won things before. So you would think there would be some respect and kind of clout there with the All-Star season. We saw this in Survivor with the All-Winners season. They really, it was pretty obvious that Tony was going to win Survivor, because it was like he was just playing it so masterfully and doing really, really well. And that really couldn't be competed against by people even with the underdog story, like Michelle, who really made it to the end. She made it to the final three in Survivor, but she hadn't necessarily done enough. She didn't really have enough of a resume to get that win. So I think that's a position that Nicole could easily find herself in at this point, unless she starts winning a lot through the last couple of weeks. So it would be someone that's potentially an option to sit next to as well. And Cody would probably have a better chance winning against Nicole than Enzo. So we're going to see how that kind of shakes out in the next couple of weeks. So the finale is actually, I believe it's on the 28th. I have the date written down on a future page here, so I'll tell you in a minute. But the finale is coming up. It's before the end of this month, so that's exciting. We're going to see who wins $500,000. And it's exciting in general that during this pandemic, they were able to pull this show off. I love that. I love to see it. Okay. So I thought it was actually kind of smart that Enzo told Cody about the wise guys with Christmas, because he made Memphis out to be the bad guy, which is good. At the same time, I thought Cody is the last person I would want to go up against at the end. I really don't think I would want to sit next to, I would sit next to anyone else before Cody. I really do think Cody should win the game based on just playing really, really well. So for Enzo to basically choose his allegiance and loyalty to Cody over Memphis is surprising to me. And I think that might be actually more of a personal bond. They just get along better. They like each other more, rather than thinking purely strategically. You don't want to sit, you would rather be sitting next to Memphis or Christmas at the end than to sit next to Cody. So that other three wise guys is actually better and stronger, and maybe your information should be going to Christmas to make Memphis out to be the bad guy more than. But Christmas in Monday night's episode said, Memphis is my guy, my guy Memphis, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know anyone really liked Memphis. But Cody has the experience and expertise. I love that comment. Let me grab that. I love that. She had substance abuse issues long ago. Shouldn't be held against her these days. Well, when she flipped out on Davon and Bailey that night, when she was yelling and wouldn't stay in her room, and she was down at the table and they were telling her, you should probably just go to your room and relax, she was apparently quite drunk. So whatever substance abuse issues she was having, she was, and I've seen her drinking on there, and I don't know if she has control over that or not, but, you know, if you're fighting people and yelling at them because you're drunk, like, that is a problem, right? Whether you're an alcoholic or not, there's a problem here, right? That you're being verbally aggressive. Did somebody mute that guy? I did not even see that comment come through. Wow, a lot of people are commenting. What the heck? Hello, Jeremiah. Sorry, I missed a bunch of comments, guys. Hi, humanity. Bonjour. Christmas and Memphis are attached to the hip. That's crazy to me. I did not even know that until I was watching like last night's show and she said my guy Memphis. I was like, damn. Christmas is an intense person. She is, yeah. Some people can't handle liquor. I think it's like White Claws or something, but yeah, I mean, you just have to, whether she's intense or whatever, you know, you like her, you don't like her, it's not really the point that I'm trying to make her. I don't know her. I don't know if I like her or not. I've never hung out with her, but I know that what she's doing isn't good for her game. I know that I would rather sit next to her than sit next to Cody or sit next to anyone, really, probably. I would probably pick Christmas. It seems like people really don't like Christmas. Like, she's been very difficult to live with, and they don't, you know, we saw how Nicole is just like, oh, I can't stand them. She was talking about Tyler as well, but yeah, I mean, Davon doesn't like Christmas, which therefore I would assume Kevin's probably not a big fan. Like, if you just think of the people in the jury, like, who the heck is going to vote for Christmas over anyone else left in the game, you know? She had a chance against maybe, like, a Kevin, but, so. Oh, she's terrible at the game. Okay, yeah. Yeah, who names their kid Christmas? I don't know. Substance abuse can be genetically linked, so. Anyway, so I had written like, oh, that was smart. Enzo told Cody, so it brings his loyalty in there and makes Memphis look like the bad guy. But then I was like, well, wait a second. You know, it's actually not that smart because he has a better chance to beat Memphis in Christmas than he does Cody, in my opinion. So, all right, I got it, mods. I got it. Okay. So Cody, thank you, Em. Thank you. I didn't know that you were paying attention. I figured you were driving. Okay. You did do it. You did. Better late than never. Okay. So Cody was talking about who he wanted to target, his order. He said, and he was talking to Enzo. He said, I would get out Kevin, then Christmas, then Danny. So that was his hit list. Was first he wants out Kevin, then he wants Christmas out because he wants to solidify the wise guys with Memphis and Enzo and not Christmas. And then he would want to get Danny out. And they all refer to Danny as the gardener, the seed planter. And Danny, actually, we even got to see on Monday night's episode, she's aware of that nickname. And she, like, kind of talked, she's like, the only time I planted seeds, blah, blah, blah. She was, like, really talking about, you know, they basically called her out on planting seeds all over the house. So she did well. Danny played a really, 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 really good game. So. Right. So Cody told Nicole about the... Oh yeah, Cody did. Yeah, he told Nicole about the Christmas, Enzo, and Memphis Final 3 deal, which I thought was really weird. And I forget the exact context in which he said it, but it was like basically he was proving to her that these people were connected in a way that she didn't think. You know, she thought she didn't really know about this whole Final 3 thing, this wise guys. So. Then Kevin and Cody got into it. So Kevin's talking to Cody about his knobs. He said, what can I say? What can I do to like get you to not put me up? Please don't put me up again. It'll be my 5th time on the block. And Cody's kind of like, well, dude, like, I'm sorry, you know, like, he's like, I don't want to have to do this either. Like, this isn't like fun for me to do this. And then Kevin's like, oh, well, poor you, like, poor Cody has to put me up on the block. Like, you know, basically they're competing over the pity party, right? Which Imp and Kanan and I were talking about recently, about people wanting attention for like for bad things happening to them. And it's this competition between who gets more pity. And that's kind of a little bit what was happening on Kevin's side, it felt like. Kevin's like, oh, you know, come on, I don't deserve this isn't fair. And Cody's like, well, it's not fun for me either. You know, he's not necessarily trying to say, like, it's just as bad for me. I mean, obviously it's not. It's more like he's just like, he's being honest. At least he's not saying, okay, fine, I won't put you up. Like, he's basically like, I'm putting you up. Like, it's an awkward conversation to be having in general. But, you know, he kind of like, he's like, oh yeah, poor Cody. So then he gets kind of sarcastic and mocking. And Cody goes, when did this conversation take this turn? Like, why? And then he's like, you know what, Cody, not everything revolves around you. And Cody's like, why are you making personal digs at me? Like, this is, that you're just being mean for no reason. And it's like, what kind of campaigning is that, you know, to not get put up? Like, it was just, I felt bad. I feel bad. I pity Kevin. I really do. And that's kind of like the energy he puts off is like, woe is me, you know, poor me. Like, I don't fit in with Black people. I don't fit in with Japanese people. I get otherized by everyone. And it's like, that sucks. I've never thought about that before. And that really must be really, really hard to not be accepted by any group of people that you want to identify with. And then he's also gay on top of it. And it's like, this guy has a really rough life, and a lot of the odds have been kind of like stacked against him. But it's like, that strategy isn't necessarily working, right? Socially, to just be like, oh, poor thing. Nobody's going to like give you $500,000 because you won a game show because everybody felt bad for you, you know? So I felt bad, but I don't know that that's really that's like really what he wanted everyone to feel like, you know? How wrong Kevin was. This whole game revolves around Cody. Yeah, it does. Like, everyone thinks they're in with Cody, and I just think he's just like masterminding it for sure. That's all he did was be pitiful. Yep. Filling the bookshelf. Yeah, it's pretty full. I need to read faster. Your phone keeps freezing? Yeah, when I stream from StreamYard, I feel like sometimes it freezes, but it might be also because you're driving. You sent super hearts? Thank you, Em, for the super hearts. I didn't even see that. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. Did I catch up? Why is Cody hating Texas? Cody doesn't hate Texas, I don't think. Kevin made the down low mans. Yes, exactly. Yeah, even Kevin was in with Cody for a little while. Well, thank you. I don't know how many Big Brother recappers there are, but I appreciate that. I'm not in Aruba. Nope, I'm back in New Jersey. Back in New Jersey, where both Enzo and Cody are from. Enzo, I think, is North Jersey, and Cody is South Jersey, right? Yeah, do I have that right? So Cody is my neighbor. Okay. So we got that. On to the next episode. So this was then Wednesday night's episode 24. This is not today's one. Yeah, last week. So 1 week ago, episode 24. Kevin's on the block for the 5th time. Excuse me. And who? Yeah, it was Kevin and David, but the target was Kevin. So I was right about the nominations, but I was wrong about who the target was. I have hiccups. Hang on. Excuse me. Yes, Brian, absolutely. He called Texans animals. He didn't mean actually Texans. He thought a Texan, the word Texan was an animal. He didn't know it meant people from Texas. Okay. Hi, Brian. How are you? Okay, so Nicole's getting fed up with going along with Danny's plans because she's realizing that those things only help Danny and they don't help Nicole. Enzo wants to backdoor somebody on the committee. He tells David that he wouldn't get rid of him or Kevin because they're with him. So Enzo is really the one kind of trying to make these side deals, which is smart because he wasn't in the committee. So he kind of does have that position where he can group up with the outcasts, you know? I'm sorry, If. I'm sorry. Team Danny. What's up, Danny? Good to see you. Let's see. Yeah, said this is the episode where Kevin talks about being half Black and half Japanese, and how because he doesn't look physically like either of those ethnicities, that he gets otherized, and it's very isolating. And that was sad, and it was something I'd never really thought about before. I take for granted, right? Being a white person, I'm viewed as a white person. People aren't like, what are you? Where he kind of has that's like his life, you know. And to be honest, personally, I thought he was like Hispanic or something. Like that's kind of, you know, it's just he doesn't have like distinct characteristics that make it obvious really what his ethnicity is. So he gets kind of like put in this other category, right? He doesn't fit into like white or Black or Asian or whatever, you know, he's just like other. And that's really hard for him. So I thought that was a good thing to talk about. There's definitely been some really good like topics that have come up in conversations in the house, which I really love and find really interesting. So I thought that was really interesting and kind of sad. The day combo. Enzo's gonna win or get America's Choice. You think Enzo's gonna get America's Choice? Interesting. Interesting indeed. Okay. I like the predictions. I like making predictions too. I don't know if Enzo would win. Do you think Enzo would win next to Cody? Probably. If you think about, like, Kevin couldn't stand Cody, and he would definitely prefer Enzo. And I think Christmas, oh my gosh, that conversation they showed with Cody and Christmas on Monday night where they were counting the number of times he said like, and it was, I don't know, 40 times saying like in 5 minutes, probably less. It was crazy. Oh yeah, how they show Davon talking about how there's only 3 black people in the house, her, Bailey, and David, and Kevin's sitting there going like, I'm black too, what the fuck, you know? Nacho, what's up? Hi, Mike. Hey guys, good to see y'all. Oh, I love streaming so much. You guys have hit me in the feels. Because some of us have known each other for years at this point. I mean, that's crazy. You guys know me a lot better than I know you, but it's nice to see familiar names and pictures. Okay, then we talk about, this is what, wait, before this. Okay, so Nicole tells Christmas that Danny's coming after her. And, and I talked about the deeper issues. So that was interesting. Nicole's kind of like telling Christmas that Danny's coming after her. Nicole's starting to try to sever that tie between herself and Danny, which is smart because they were viewed as a really strong pair, potentially inseparable. What person? Oh, this guy, he's basically telling me to stand up. If you like small, call me. That's still one of my favorite things that anyone has ever said. Okay, so this is the conversation. So this is what Matt was talking about, where Cody walks into the HOH room, and Memphis and I think Danny and Christmas were kind of hanging out in there. And Memphis goes, what do you call people from New Jersey? A New Jerseyan? Because Cody's from New Jersey, and he just walked in. And he's like, what? What are you guys talking about? They're like, what do you call you? Like, what's somebody from New Jersey? New Jerseyan or something else? And he's like, we're just from New Jersey. That's not a thing. There's no New Jerseyan. That's not a thing. And they're like, well, you know, like, he's like, Memphis is like, I'm from Florida, so I'm a Floridian. And he's like, a Floridian? That's not a thing. Like, you're making that up. And he's like, I'm not making that up. So what people from Florida are called. And then Christmas is like, I'm a Carolinian. And he's like, that's definitely not a thing. All of this is not a thing. And then they're like, well, what about like people from Texas? Like a Texan or like a New Yorker? And he was like, a Texan is an animal. And I love how he roasted himself. He was like, all right, I know Zingbot said that my IQ was only 10, but I'm learning so much in this house this season that by the time I leave here, it should easily be like a 25 or a 30. I love it. Team Christmas all the way. Well, I just shouted that out more like I'm not Team Christmas, actually, but I was in the beginning. I really, really, really liked her a lot. San Diegonian. What is that a thing? San Diegoan. A Californian. Yeah, exactly. An armadillo? Yeah, I don't know. He's thinking of the bull on the Texans' helmets. Oh my God. You are so smart. That is a good call. You're probably exactly right about that. Yep. So when he hears Texans, he thinks of the sports team, and he thinks that must be a Texan on there. Danny was like, what kind of animal? What are you talking about? That's a good call. That's a very good call. Yep. That makes perfect sense to me. That's a very good call. Yep. There you go, Brian. That's your answer. It must be the bull on the Texans uniforms. Chorizonian sausage? You're from sausage? All right. So then the veto competition. So it's Cody, Kevin, and David. And then they pick Nicole, Tyler. They pick Nicole and Tyler, and then David gets house choice, and he picks Enzo. And Enzo said that he did want to shake things up, and he did want to fight for David and take David down. So then I wrote that Christmas has this terrible attitude because she didn't get picked, and she was all upset because she's never gotten to compete in a veto competition, and now it makes sense to me because she's worried about being backdoored, because she knows Cody could potentially put her up as a backdoor if someone was to get taken down. So that's okay, but she's just very, like, she's openly pissed off, and everyone's just like, it's just awkward, you know? She's moody. Yeah, she's a little moody. Exactly. Actually, now we're going to get off on a tangent, so brace yourselves. Tangents with Tailors coming to you live. I'm reading a book right now about the difference between male and female brains, and they're talking a lot about hormones and the different male and female why am I saying hormones? Hormones and how they affect our bodies and our behaviors. So it's like kind of the biological basis for stereotypically male or female behaviors. It's kind of an alternative approach to people saying that we act like boys or girls based on our environment. This talks more about the biology behind it and the hormones attached to that. So as women are in their menstrual cycle and how their hormones kind of flow, it's interesting because at certain stages in the cycle, they're very sharp and they're more sensitive to things, meaning physically sensitive, like they can see better and hear better and smell better and taste better, and they're highly more sensitive and sharper and quicker, and they feel a lot of positive feelings because of, I believe it's from estrogen that gives you these high feelings of like feeling good. And then the next stage in the cycle, progesterone kicks in, which is to prepare your body for pregnancy. So when this hormone elevates, it has a mood control kind of attached with it, but it also so it keeps you from feeling like overly moody, right? But it also has a connection with making you feel a little bit foggy, kind of out of it, like less, it kind of dulls the sharpness and sensitivity that you get from estrogen. It makes you feel maybe a little bit out of it, a little bit slow, a little bit kind of confused or something during that time period, but you're still not moody. You're kind of just not on your A game, you would say. Then right before your menstrual period, both hormones just plummet, and that takes away all the mood control and all the good feelings. So the mood control of the progesterone and the good feelings of the estrogen, and it makes you feel bad and moody. So you're kind of all over the map with that, and you just kind of feel like crap, and probably potentially like kind of depressed, at least mildly depressed, and just in a funk, and it may be irritable and a bit like rude or something. So it could be hormonal things that we're seeing here with her. Anyway, I do call it uterus week. I do, yeah. But, excuse me. Hormones for teens is an especially tough time. Absolutely is. Excuse me. No one's ever used a power to take her out of the veto. They hit the back door. The back door. Oh, okay. What does Prozac do to all that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if studies have even been done on Prozac's effects on hormones, but I don't know. Mad and moody, cooking up dope with Uzi. Mad and moody. That's so funny. But yeah, so women, don't be so hard on yourselves. All right, there's a whole biological thing happening to us. The best thing we can do is be aware of where we're at in our cycle by tracking our periods, and there's free apps that you can use to do this. Makes it super easy so that you know when you're kind of at what stage in your cycle. Also good for if you're trying to get pregnant, tracks your ovulation. But it's also, it's like there's only so much you can do about it. But as you're more aware of it, you can be on the lookout for warning signs, and you can also let the people in your life know that how you're feeling and why it's not really them. So if you like kind of warning people like, I'm feeling very like irritable today and just moody, and if I'm mean to you or if I snap on you, like it has nothing to do with anything you did or said or anything. Like I'm just in a very volatile kind of mindset right now, and there's nothing to be ashamed of, right? It's kind of sucks. I mean, honestly, like dudes must be pretty nice to now guys, and I'll getting to that more in the book as I read it. They said that they're going to talk about that. Men do have somewhat of a cycle too, a different type of cycle, but the hormones present in women are they're very powerful. And testosterone is very powerful too, but it's more of like a positive power. Testosterone makes you like very independent, self-assured, self-reliant, confident, less stressed. So, we're dealing with a lot of we have some things going against us here, and to realize that it's okay to feel that way. And for men to understand it as well, so that they know how to navigate it and to know that, whether or not they can handle it. JJ, my trip was amazing. Thank you so much for asking. I felt so spoiled. How have you been doing? Buy them chocolate and ice cream and lock yourself in the bathroom for a week. Yeah, space can be a really, really powerful thing. And it's hard to know when to give space. But space, I heard my friend refer to space as kind of like the sixth love language. Romantic Night, thank you so much for the super hearts. How are you? Steph, you can't stand her. You're talking about Christmas. Hey, Sarah, what's up? Hey, Optimistic. Actually, this is very interesting, Danny. They talk about that in the book, and that women who commit violent crimes, the vast majority of them were right in that period, right? PMSing, basically, right before the murders and anything that not every single time, but even like female serial killers, like most of their crimes and kills and whatever are done like right before their period. Which is crazy. But that's like when we feel the worst. So yeah, so PMT, premenstrual tension or something, it's actually in France, it's a legal defense for women. They can say that basically I was PMSing, so it's like an insanity plea. So I wasn't myself. I wasn't in my right state of mind. That's legitimate. Like, that's actually in the penal code. At least it was in France. This book is old. This book's probably 15 to 20 years old. So, yeah, Steph, we were talking about her. Yeah, their kills. Yeah, sorry. I play a lot of killing games lately, so I'm like desensitized to talking about it. Probably. Hi, Mike. Fortnite, exactly, or Among Us. Okay, so where do we go here? Okay, Otev, the psychedelic salamander, he comes out and he's like, well, dude, I need you to help me find my tie-dye shirts. And the tie-dye shirts had band names on them based on evicted house guests. So he would basically say, okay, like, find me a shirt with the names of the two people that competed in this competition or something, and they have to go find who it is, or the two most recently evicted house guests, and you have to go find a shirt, and it's like buried under all these big inflatable like unicorns and balls, and there's like all these foam balls that fall from the ceiling, and it's like everything's buried, and you're just digging through and trying to find these shirts. And there's a bunch of shirts too. You have to find the right shirt. And then there's shirts that say $10,000 on, I think there's one shirt that says $10,000 on it, and if you choose that one, then you get $10,000 instead of winning the power of veto. So it was a fun one to watch, I thought. What ended up happening, so it was like a very slippery ramp. They had to pull themselves up by a rope, and Nicole basically couldn't do it. She kept falling. I felt really bad, but it didn't matter because she didn't really need to win anyway. But what ended up happening here is that David put himself a little bit more in the spotlight, because when he found the $10,000 shirt, now let's be honest here. I think there was 5 people remaining in the competition. 3 of them had already found the correct shirt. It was now, I believe, only David and Cody left to find the shirt. So he finds the $10,000 shirt, and he looks and he says, you know what? Cody wins, right? Cody is very competitive. He's athletic. He's probably going to win. It's possible. And if he wins, then I'll have nothing. So I won't have won the power of veto again, and I could potentially have $10,000 that I won't have. So he takes it. And I can totally understand why he took it. But everyone there really lost a lot of respect for him. They're like, dude, you're on the block and you took $10,000. At the same time, David had to know that Kevin was the target and that Kevin was already out. Kevin, I believe, was the first person out, right? Or maybe I don't know if he was the first person out. Maybe not. But I think he just kind of viewed himself as safe. And they didn't like that he viewed himself as safe. You're never safe. They kind of all like scolded him and reprimanded him, including Cody. So I don't know if they've ever greased the ramp. Usually it's water. I don't know. It seemed like it was like soap, like soapy water or something, like something slippery. It seemed like it was extremely slippery, like they could not get up it for some reason. So it was really funny, though. It's funny to watch them like fall down it. So Cody ends up beating, Cody and Kevin were both like trying to go up the ramp at the same time. It was super close and Cody ended up beating him, which was really sad. Poor Nicole couldn't get up the ramp, so then it just ends up being Enzo versus Cody, North Jersey versus South Jersey, and Cody ends up winning. He was HOH, so obviously he keeps his nominations the same. Kevin is still the target, and this was the last episode before the first ever triple eviction on Big Brother history. Oh, see, this I completely disagree with. I disagree with this. I don't think Memphis will win. I don't think people really like Memphis besides Christmas. And I don't think people really like Christmas, so it's not really doing a whole lot for him and Christmas to be a pair. No, I never saw that one. I only started watching Big Brother, I think, last season. I think it was just, this is the second season I've ever watched. So I do not remember Becky body slamming Austin to beat him up the ramp. And Kat murdering Cliff. I remember last season, what's her name? The blonde chick and Cliff. And she like beat Cliff and she started crying because Cliff was like the old guy and he had like a knee problem. And what was her name? Is that who you're talking about? Kat? Was that her name? Yeah, see, Steph doesn't like Memphis. Yeah, Memphis is like, Memphis is, I can't click it. He's like a hyper male. That guy's probably got a lot of testosterone in his body. He's very, very like confident, a bit aggressive, definitely like the male dominance hierarchy, which is also talked about in the book. It's like testosterone makes, and men in general, they kind of like, they have a hierarchy of like who's the leader. There's usually like a clear leader, and then there's kind of like their hierarchy of like who's like the low rung of the totem pole. Women's social networks don't really have that kind of hierarchy. It's more like they're all useful for different things. They have like their special things that they're good at and what they're viewed at. So there's not always a clear in one leader per se. This is the only season you've ever watched, Sarah. Well, welcome. I'm going to watch my first ever season of Amazing Race, which starts in 1 week from today, so I'm excited about that. Imp, you have no idea what's going on. Okay, so then we get to Thursday's episode, which is the triple eviction. So at this point, Cody has won HOH twice and a veto. And I'm sitting here wondering, is there any more that I missed? I should have looked it up before going live, but I did write any more, ? Dr. Will comes out again, and he tells them to always be planning 3 steps ahead. He says, don't plan just one. You're not looking at like just this week or the week after, but you got to look 3 steps ahead. And David's like, 3? What do you think it's a triple eviction? And everyone's like, no. There's never been a triple eviction before. It's probably a double eviction though. And then Memphis says, a triple eviction would be crazy. Like they're thinking, what would we do in the case of a triple eviction, which is how you should be thinking because it was a triple eviction. And Danny predicted how it would work accurately. She's like, nope, it would be 3, HOH and veto and evictions like back to back all in one night. So she was correct. So they were all discussing it, and they were actually correct about it. So the votes come back unanimously. Everyone votes to evict Kevin. Kevin didn't hug anyone when he was evicted, and he said, we'll save it for finale night, which I thought was different, but I also kind of liked because it was like, it's fake, right? You don't want to just hug, oh yeah, like when you don't like them and you're just like, screw you guys, I'm out. Thank you, John. Thank you. Oh, you're on Wi-Fi. Okay, yay. Yes, Steph, they did. They were thinking a double, then an instant eviction later. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah. So Kevin says that there's no way he would ever vote for Cody, which is what he had threatened Cody before. But then he very much confessed up to being like super emotional and making a bad choice in his conversation with Cody. So we'll see as the weeks go on, kind of, sometimes distance or absence makes the heart grow fonder. You didn't realize Cody and Danny were so close. Yeah, like she said, that's like my late night, like scheming partner. Yeah, I think, yeah, they were friends. You know, when he voted her out, he was like, she's never going to forgive me for this. All right, so I would say that the messages to Kevin were some of the best goodbye messages that I've seen yet this whole season. I mean, I thought they were really nice. Some of them were like really awkward. Like, remember when Nicole was like, Janelle, if you don't want to come to my wedding, just don't. I was like, that's messed up. That was messed up. So Kevin going out, seemed like everyone really liked him, right? They were like, sorry, like, this is just, you know, we love you and hope no hard feelings kind of thing. She told him everything, even stuff she kept from Nicole. Yeah, because Cody's good at this game, for sure. You press the button? What button? Kevin will probably get America's Choice. I don't know. I like Devon a lot. I never particularly cared for Kevin, personally, but Cody has to tell Nicole stuff Danny told him. He has to? Yeah, you have no idea. What do you mean by this? Okay, so then we go right into the second HOH comp. Memphis wins his third HOH by being a foot troll. Did you know it was like, was Dr. Will wearing slippers on all of his appearances? You know, it was like true or false. Dr. Will was wearing slippers on all of his appearances, and everyone's like, false, and then he was like, true, or one, I don't know, everyone guessed wrong, and he got it correct, and I'm like, look at him paying attention to the feet. Like, the foot troll, Memphis. I know you're looking at the feet. I'm just teasing, but yeah, so he ended up winning HOH by knowing whether or not he was wearing sandals. And then he has to instantly nominate, so he nominates David and Nicole. And we got to see in Monday night's episode that Memphis refused to do meetings with anyone. He said, no meetings. We all knew this was coming. We all should have been planning ahead, this many steps ahead anyway. I know who I'm putting up. There's really no reason to sit here and talk for 20 seconds with each person. I know what I'm doing. Let's just chill and get it done. And he says that when he does the nominations, he says, we all knew this was coming, so David, Nicole, I nominate you guys for eviction. Then there was Okay, so I think we were watching this in Aruba, and I might have been a little drunk, so some of these notes, I'm like, I don't totally understand what I wrote down. But it's fine. Yep, so I never saw it coming. Okay, this is funny because I feel like that is like could have been kind of true. They never saw it coming, right? Oh, HOH is ahead of household competition. What's a WAP? Thank you, Steph. Yes. This is Steph. Steph is my friend from elementary school, actually. All right, so where are we at? So Tyler, Christmas, and Danny are randomly chosen for the veto with Memphis, David, and Nicole. And because they're doing a double eviction, right? At that point, they didn't realize it was a triple yet. So I predicted that Christmas was going to win the veto based on like just the preliminary camera shots. I don't remember what the challenge was. I also didn't think that it was important to write it down, so who knows? But she did end up winning. Christmas wins the veto, and Nicole argues to Christmas that she's her number one. So she's like basically saying like, you know, you should take me off because like I have your back and like other people don't, and please save me. And I think Christmas kind of realizes, you know, David's really the target. Like there's no reason to go after a committee member right now. Like we don't have to go after Nicole. And she's like, okay, so she keeps noms the same. So she's good with Memphis. What I didn't realize was what they showed on Monday night's episode, where she actually decided to try to flip it. So she was going to keep her and Tyler are talking, right? They have their final two deal. They're like, this is our chance. We could get Nicole out now. We would only have to get one other person to do it. Maybe we could get Enzo to flip. And Enzo will keep, because we know Enzo wants to keep David. And we know Tyler really wants to keep David. And Christmas I don't think really cares one way or the other, but she's in with Tyler, so she's like, yeah, let's do that. But she's also in with Memphis, so they're like, well, why don't we keep the noms the same? So Memphis is happy that we leave his nominations the same, but then we try to flip it and get Nicole out instead of David. Then we keep David, and now David's like on our team. Christmas and Tyler both vote to get Nicole out, and Enzo at the last second says, I can't do it. I don't want to upset Memphis. I'm not flipping, and he votes David out and to keep Nicole. So he's immediately tells Nicole this happens and says, basically, you owe me. He doesn't say it to her, but he's like, I got you. Like, I wasn't going to do that. And, we're good. So Nicole feels very good that Enzo has her back. She feels good that someone kind of has her back on that. But now Christmas and Tyler are in a really bad spot because they just showed their hand. They show that they're together, they're voting together, they're a duo, and they are now on everybody's radar for not going along with the committee anymore. The committee's now blown up, right? Once David is gone, it's only the committee members left anyway, so now you have to have your sub-factions within the alliance to make it all the way to the final two, or final three. What the hell? I'm so weird. Hey, Ange, how are you? Good to see you. Nice try, Christmas and Tyler. Nicole is bulletproof. Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. It's like that was just the double eviction. So Christmas doesn't use the veto. We kind of talked about all that. I put Christmas is under Memphis's thumb ? But I didn't realize the whole her and Tyler thing that was going on. Then Julie comes up, hello, house guests, and in the background from the TV, like green screen, it's just scrolling triple eviction night. And they're all going, they're not looking at Julie, they're going, what does that say? Does that say triple eviction? And then she's like, she just acts like nothing's happening. All right, guys, we're going to need you to do this and that, and I'm not going to say shit about you. I'm just going to act like nothing's happening. And it's so funny because they're all like, we're seeing it. They weren't supposed to see it. It was supposed to still be kept a surprise. She even said before going to the house guests still don't know it's triple eviction night. We're going to keep it a secret a little bit longer. And then she goes in, and then they're all like, triple eviction. So that was an awesome little blooper. That's why live TV is so fun. That's why live streaming is so fun. So that was actually really, really fun, I feel like. Where's my boyfriend? He is working right now. He is about an hour from here, I think, working on one of his houses. Okay. So for David's eviction speech, he says, there's another eviction tonight. Rookie wants to stay. Rookie wants to play. He tries to go for it. And then, unfortunately, Enzo does not flip. And we have 3 votes to evict David, and he goes home. The 2 votes, Christmas and Tyler, to evict Nicole. I even wrote, like, whoa, this is crazy. I was really blown away by how that all went out. And David also decides not to hug anyone. He's proud to have made it this far. And she even Julie says to David when he comes out for his exit interview, she's like, I didn't say anything about a triple eviction yet. Like, that wasn't my fault. She kind of like blames it on, like, it wasn't her fault, basically. He says he doesn't regret choosing the $10,000. It was an entirely reasonable choice. I completely agree with that. I also think that David should get another chance to play. I thought that his play style is very unique, and it got him pretty far in the game without having any alliances. So I think it would be cool if they brought him back for, like, some future season, potentially, when they have, like, they bring people back every so often. It is a TV show, yes. It is a show, yes. Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah, you knew that, right? Because you know all about this. Yeah, and then, like, Julie comes on to all of them sitting there. She's like, I think you saw the bad news behind me. It is a triple eviction night. And then Tyler wins the HOH on a triple eviction, which is unprecedented because no one's ever done that before, right? And we only see Danny and Nicole plead their cases. And he says he only voted Nicole out because he thought that's what Memphis wanted. Which is kind of dumb because there's only a few people that you're communicating with at this point, and it's pretty clear Memphis has been targeting David from the beginning, so for him to want Nicole out just doesn't really make any sense. And then he puts up Danny and Nicole, which I thought was kind of surprising, but not extremely surprising. It was kind of like, I forgot about the whole like final two Tyler and Christmas thing that they had going on. So it did make more sense in hindsight. And then Power of Veto, Tyler wins that as well. And of course keeps the nominations the same as they are his nominations. Thank you, Greg. Thank you very much. And on Danny's eviction speech, she blows up Christmas and Tyler's final two, and she says that if she wins HOH, she will not come after the other three, but she will absolutely be putting up Tyler and Christmas, which were some serious fighting words, and Christmas did not like it, and they were definitely being very catty with each other, which was entertaining, but also kind of embarrassing, I feel like, probably. They're going to spend all season planning for a triple that never comes? Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, it's always, but it is good. It's like chess, right? To try to plan ahead like that. So then unanimously everybody votes to evict Danny. Danny was so close to surviving triple eviction night, but unfortunately could not bring it home. On the way out, I think Danny hugged everyone except Christmas, and Christmas says, "Oh, I guess it's going to be personal." And Danny's like, "I guess it is," in this weird mocking voice. Oh, and she didn't hug Tyler. Danny didn't hug Tyler either. So she only hugged Memphis, Nicole, Cody, and Enzo. So Danny officially has the most veto wins. She's tied for the most veto wins in Big Brother history, which is awesome. And she said her core four were Cody, Nicole, and Enzo, which I didn't realize that. I would have guessed Nicole. We didn't really know that much about Cody, but because of her getting evicted, we start to learn more about her relationship with Cody. And then Enzo kind of threw me off. I was like, wait, Danny and Enzo are close? Like, I didn't even view that because Enzo's been like, she's the gardener, she's planting seed, like from the beginning. So it was surprising for me to hear her say that was her core four. Did she do that? Did she really do that? Did she make that sound? Hey, Julian, how are you? So in her exit interview, she says that, she never really felt good with Tyler and Christmas. She said that Nicole was the smallest threat in the house, which I agree with. So even though she's a previous winner, she really hasn't done much this season. So she's not a big threat. So she's not surprised that she went over Nicole. She blames Tyler for like wanting to leave the house to get back to his girlfriend and kind of ruining her and his games. And she regrets not pushing for Tyler to get out instead of Ian when she had the chance. So the finale night is October 28th, which is a Wednesday night, and the Sunday night shows are now moved to Mondays, which is tricky because of football. It might mess with the recordings that you have on your DVR, so just be wary. It was in that voice. Yeah, she was like, I guess it is. Yeah. Like, you're so stupid. Stop talking to me. Nicole manages her threat level like Tony. I don't think so. Tony had his first ever win last season, didn't he? Had he ever won before? He won like 3 times in a row. Hey, Kyle, good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so I'm going to also do Monday night's episode because I watched it, and why not? So tomorrow night's recap. So Thursday, I usually do these recaps on Thursday nights, but like I said, I was traveling, so I didn't do it till tonight because I had to catch up on the episodes. So tomorrow night, Thursday night, I will be doing my recap as normal here on Periscope and on YouTube, and I will only be doing tonight's episode and tomorrow night's episode. So we're going to find out Veto Competition tonight and Eviction night tomorrow night. You're going to give Nicole credit always. Yeah. Tony Stark? No. Your DVR recorded Judge Judy. Yeah, mine recorded it recorded Big Brother, but it started late. Like, it didn't start on time. It didn't start until like 20 minutes into the show or something like that. So I had to wait until it like updated the on-demand version. Excuse me. Good to see you, Kyle. All right, so they start off Monday night's episode basically giving us some of the details from eviction night. So I've already talked about a lot of them already. That was the first time Tyler was ever on the wrong side of a vote in Big Brother history. And he tells Nicole that, and Nicole's like, how does it feel? And he's like, it fucking sucks, which I can imagine for sure. They do the final HOH competition. So they actually had 3 HOH competitions in that one night, and this one is the Big Brother yoga studio where it's like all supposed to be zen and calm, and we're doing yoga, and you all get to relax after this crazy triple eviction. And they have to do these yoga poses, which is basically just holding down these 3 different buttons. So they're standing by these like poles, and they have to hold onto a button here, hold onto a button here, do a button with their foot, and they kind of like change positions. So they have to put on these weird outfits, like this like pink hoodie and like a pink skirt and stockings and Ugg boots, and it's called like the leaping flamingo or something. And then they have to keep their hands or whatever body part, they have to keep these buttons pressed down while they try to take off their clothes. So they strip down to their underwear, basically like a sports bra and like underwear, and they have to strip down to that and then get over and push a button in the quickest time possible. But every time one of the buttons gets unpressed, the timer speeds up. So when one button becomes unpressed, it speeds up to 10 times the count, so it goes 10 times faster. If you let go of 2 buttons, then it's 30 times faster. And if you let go of all 3 buttons, then it's 60 times faster. So the trick is to keep the buttons held down as much as possible and not let go of them at all as much as possible while you undress. And I want to know why Memphis was so good at this. Like, his time was way better than everyone else's, like every single time. Him and Cody was good at it too. So by the end, it was down to just him and Cody left. And that last one, Memphis, I think, won every single round up until the last one. Cody ended up beating him. Memphis got kind of stuck, like getting his shirt off, and his timer just kind of ran out. And Cody ended up winning HOH yet again, which is what I'm saying. Like, Cody, I feel like, does deserve to potentially win this. So, thanks, Tha. I appreciate that. Well, I try to interact with you guys too, so you don't have to like wait till the end to get the engagement, you know, or just like comment. You get your DVR next Saturday. Nice. No fighting wolves. The idea of the show. Okay, I'll say that at the end. I just have like a couple more things. So Cody ends up putting up Tyler and Christmas. The target is Christmas, but he doesn't seem to trust Tyler either, so he's kind of seems like he could go either way on it, and we'll see what happens tonight with the veto competition. So, what is Big Brother? So Big Brother is a show that is 24-hour-a-day surveillance. So they move them into a house, which is like a big set in Hollywood, and they live in, I think it's like 20 strangers live in this house together for the summer. And while they live there, they have these competitions where one person becomes the head of household, and that person is in charge of picking 2 people out of everyone that lives there to go up for eviction, which means that they will potentially get kicked out of the house. The last person, okay, so let's say it like that. So they might go out of the house. Then those 2 people have the chance to compete in a competition where if they win, they can take themselves off of what's called the block, which is what you're on when you're being nominated to be evicted. And then the head of household would have to put someone else up in your place. After that, then everyone in the house just votes on who they want to be evicted, who they want out of the house the most. And whoever gets the most votes has to leave the house. So it's very similar to Survivor. By the end of the season, there's 2 people remaining, and the last like 10 or so people who were voted out of the house get to now choose who they want to win at the end. Again, very similar to Survivor. So it's a social experiment where it's like, how can you basically vote people out of the game and then get those same people that you voted out to vote for you to win at the end versus whoever you're up against. So it's a big strategy game. He said, so it's like real life. It's a reality show, yeah. You'll be so sad if Tyler goes, really? And I appreciate the compliment there. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Tyler at all. See, the people you really like, you love Kevin and Tyler. Those are probably my least favorites. Christmas and Memphis, no, I'm not really a big fan of. Nicole, even. I really like Cody and Enzo, so apparently I'm a Jersey girl now. I know I've lived in New Jersey for like almost 2 years, so maybe it's a thing now. You thought it was a fiction show. Nope. It's like a live. And you can watch it 24/7 too. I don't watch the live feeds, but it's constantly rolling. So it's based off of, I don't know if you've ever heard of the book 1984 by George Orwell, which is about Big Brother, this concept of like basically like the government is always watching everything. So this book was written, I believe, in like the 60s, and it was an imaginary world in the future, in the year 1984, where there would be like big screens in your house, and they would be like basically cameras, so they could constantly monitor everything you were doing. And they had something called like the thought police, where you were only allowed to like say certain things, like you could never speak out against the government or anything, or you'd be basically like, you would disappear, basically like be killed or whatever. And that you work these very like standard jobs. It was like extreme socialism with extreme surveillance, government surveillance. So this is a show that's like a microcosm of that, which is basically like, there's a house and you're watching everything. All of America and the whole world can tune in and watch live what you're saying, what you're doing at any moment. So it's like, it's like what I do as a live streamer on like crazy steroids. You'd never want to be in that show? I actually would love to play the show. I wouldn't want to do Survivor, but I would definitely like to do Big Brother. Enzo and Tyler are the ones you really like right now? Yeah. Fortnite? Yeah, let's go play Fortnite. Hello, Kim. How are you? Thanks for tuning in over on YouTube. You would definitely want to be on Big Brother? Same, yeah. I don't know how I would do, but I would love to be on it. My Twitch handle is the same as here on YouTube and Periscope. It's NextJuice, just like right here. No T, N-E-X, juice. Hey, you can see my scarf over there? Can you guys see my junk? I didn't know that. I'll have to clean up a little bit. So NEXJUICE. I go live every single day here on Periscope and on Twitch. I also go live on YouTube here at least once a week. The Fitbit? I guess. I don't know. This was a gift from my mom from like 5 years ago or something. You covet me? You covet me? Did you mean to say covet? I didn't even know that you would use a word like covet. Do you know what covet means? Like you're jealous? Like you wish that you were streaming on YouTube? Impressed. I'm impressed if you meant to actually use that word properly. That's pretty good. All right. I love you guys. I'm going to go play some Fortnite over on Twitch. If you want to come play with me or just hang out, watch me play, you are invited. And another recap will be coming to you tomorrow. So I'll see you then. You need prestigious friends like me? I'm not that prestigious. No, I don't know what covet is. I meant forgot. Oh, you forgot I was streaming on YouTube. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Covet means like to covet something is to want what that person has. Fortnite name, same. NextJuice everywhere on Fortnite, on Twitch, on Instagram, everything. NextJuice, NEXJUICE. And come play Fortnite with us. All right, I love you guys. I hope to see you on the next juice. This has been a moment in time with Taylor. Please remember that you are worthy of being loved and feeling comfortable in your own skin. I hope you enjoyed today's Daily Juice. I'll be back tomorrow with another Big Brother recap. Normally they're not every single day, but then when we get to Friday, I'll be doing a regular broadcast again. And I'm always streaming in my private Periscope group. Not always, but I stream also in my private Periscope group. If you want access to that, click the link nextjuice.com/support and become a monthly supporter. Or, and if you do $10 or more on the monthly, then you also get access to my private email that I send out once a month, which is just like a picture of me with an update on what's going on with my life and business, and just like a little check-in. I pretend to be a model, and I like do these photos. I took a bunch of photos in Aruba, so that'll be going out by the end of this week. So if you get it quickly, you'll get it for this month as well. All right, I love you guys. Hope to see you on the next juice. Oh, and thank you for the super hearts, Emp. And thank you, Reggie, and WB, and thank you for the super hearts. A little delayed there. And Mo, and Dan, and Romantic Nights. Whisper. Okay, bye.